Sounds great.
And then I will, after the introduction, then I'll make Tamara the host.
Okay, so we have Tamara Martinez. She's with Job Corps. And so she's going to be talking to us about all the different opportunities for Job Corps and how that could potentially benefit some of our students. And you are the representative for our Eastern region, correct, Tamara?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to turn the time over to you and you can tell us all about it.
All right.
Okay, you are now the host.
So, let's see. So can you see what's on my screen?
Nope.
Now can you?
Yes.
Okay, where it says Job Corps, your future starts here.
Yep, we can see it.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. To those of you who were here the last time and I wasn't able to make it, I apologize, but I'm glad if you're able to make it back again. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about this program because it is a really neat program. So if you decide you want to apply, you can go into the Job Corps website and enter your information. I think it says apply here, but it's not really apply. It will send your information to me so that I can reach out to you. I can email you information. I can call you and stuff like that. Eligibility is pretty much if you're 16 to 24, you have to not be on probation, have any pleas in abeyance or upcoming court dates, or you have to have fines under $500. If you're and then have an IEP or a 504, or if you have a mental illness or a disability, sometimes diabetes counts, that sort of thing. It's sort of an individual sort of thing. So talk to me about it. Once you're 18 and over, we sort of change gears, and you've got to meet the not being on probation and all those legal requirements. And then we base it on your income. So it has to be half of the poverty level. So the poverty level for this year is $14,580. So over 6 months, you can make half of that. And most people these days can make that just fine. So the 504, if you qualify for free or reduced lunch at school, you have a diagnosed disability that we can get records on, or if your family receives SNAP or TANF, if you've been in foster care or are in foster care, and then we have to have a parent or legal guardian with court papers to sign for you if you're a minor. If you're an adult, you can be employed. You just have to make less than the poverty level there. But this is a really good program if you're needing to finish high school. We have several ways for you to do that. We use Penn Foster, or at Weber Basin, we're going to be connecting with the Davis School District online program. Or we can help you get your GED or your HiSET. We alternate so that you're working on high school for 1 week, then your trade training the next week, and you go back and forth. And we can also help you get your driver's license if you need it. This is a voluntary program. We're not a juvenile detention center. You can leave whenever you want, but know that you've got to wait a year to reapply, and that's your last chance. But we do have a zero tolerance policy on drugs, alcohol, and violence on center, because we have students as young as 16 there. And so we're basically their guardian while they're on our center. So they've, zero tolerance policy on bullying, harassment, theft, things like that. It's an all-inclusive community. We have students that are refugees and immigrants. We have a large LGBTQ community. And so we want everybody to feel safe and comfortable. What we do provide, if you are eligible, everything is free. The government, the Department of Labor pays for everything. So we have dorms, we have cafeteria, we have recreational activities. So there's a gym with racquetball, basketball, volleyball, punching bags. There's a weight room, a cardio room, a music room, art room, Dungeons and Dragons. We've got a video gaming warehouse. So you stay in Job Corps. It's a year-round schooling program. You would get holidays and weekends off, and you start out with 3 days of what we call PTO, paid time off. It's basically a vacation day, and every 30 days you get another one. So you can create your own spring break or summer vacation if you want. Living allowance, we do provide about $40 every 2 weeks. Just a little bit of spending money so that if you need to get some shampoo or something, or hygiene items or some snacks, you've got a little bit of money to work with. We do take students off center. We'll take them to Walmart, the bank, go get their hair cut. But they also go do fun things too. They go axe throwing, out to eat, go to baseball games, basketball games, lagoon, the aquatic, Clearfield Aquatic Center. So they do a lot of fun things too, because about 60% of the students at the Clearfield Job Corps Center are from out of state. They come in for the automotive training. We have one of the top Toyota T10 programs in the nation. So it's really worth checking out. So we'll help you with all of your high school, your career training. We teach you how to look for a job. Back in my day, when I was first looking for a job, everything was filled out on paper. Now everything is online, and it's confusing, and well, it duplicates itself and stuff like that. So we help you with that career placement. We try to have you placed within a month of your graduation. So if you complete your high school and your basic trade and graduate with a job within a month of graduation, you get $1,200. If you go ahead and complete your high school where you are and you complete a basic trade with this, you get $700. But every basic trade has advanced training available. So once you finish your high school and your basic trade, if you want to do advanced training, you would apply for that. And if it's in another state, Job Corps pays for your travel there and back, and at Christmas time. So for example, if you like computers and you want to do computer tech, that's at the Clearfield Center. One of the advanced programs is cybersecurity, which is on the East Coast. If you wanted to take electrical, we've got solar panel installation in Kentucky and some other states. I'm sure Florida is one of them. We also have drone operations. I'm talking the great big drones where you work with traffic control at the airport. You have to know weather forecasts and things like that. And drones are used for search and rescue, fires, accident scenes, delivery. It's used in the military, all kinds of stuff. It's really neat. We do have a clothing allowance. We do an inventory when you come in. So if you're short on underwear or socks or shoes, we take care of that for you. We've had students come in with just the clothes on their back. You know, this is a chance to change the trajectory of your life. The goal of Job Corps is to keep its students from falling into poverty, and to where you graduate into adulthood. You're learning adulting skills. You learn like etiquette, conflict negotiation, anger management, money management, all different kinds of things, so that when you leave here, you've got all of these different personal skills, you know, especially how to deal with people you might not get along with in the workplace. You need, or customers, you need to know how to do that in a professional way. So we really work on building the strong work ethic. Here's Anaconda Job Corps. This is up in Montana. That's up in this nice valley up in the mountains. I haven't had the privilege of going up there, but I hear it's absolutely beautiful. But they've got bricklaying, carpentry, culinary arts, heavy equipment mechanics. You could go up there and do heavy equipment mechanics, heavy equipment operations, and then come back to Clearfield and do like diesel mechanics if you wanted, or get your CDL. So that's some options too. They have painting, welding, and advanced welding. And I think they've averaged about 200 students on their center. And then we've got Trapper Creek that's also up in Montana. I've had 2 students that I've sent up there that weren't too sure about going to Montana, going to Trapper Creek. And once they got there, they absolutely love it. So I'm really thrilled about that. So they've got carpentry, cement masonry, culinary arts, electrical, facilities maintenance. I used to kind of deter kids from taking that trade, but that has become a real need with the growth that we're seeing here in Utah. You know, especially along the Wasatch Front. There's apartment buildings, condos, businesses going up everywhere. Well, they need people to take care of those properties and keep them looking good. Facilities maintenance is one of the most intensive trades that we offer. And it's good to know different things for when you are able to buy your own house. It helps you learn how to fix your HVAC, how to install a toilet, you know, just various, like install your sprinkler system or fix it, fix your lawnmower, and all different kinds of things. We have a forestry program where you can train to actually go up into the mountains and fight fires. It's a very intensive course physically and mentally. You're camping out for like 2 weeks at a time. Your training is like boot camp. You're running up mountains with a 40-pound, well, not running, they have you walk briskly up a mountain with a 40-pound pack. You're learning how to dig fire lines, work with chainsaws, that sort of thing. And when you actually go out on the fire, all across the West, you go out to the fire sites, you get paid. And they have advanced wildland fire there too. So they have an advanced, a camp crew. So if you're 18 and you're in electrical or carpentry or any of these other trades, but you're a good student, you can apply to be part of the camp crew, which supports the folks that are going up and actually fighting the fires. And you earn money while you're on that as well. And they've got painting and welding. Clearfield Job Corps, that's one of the biggest centers in the country. It's in an urban environment, no mountains really close by. You've got Hill Air Force Base jets flying over all day long. But this center is really known for its automotive program. So anybody there who's interested in working on passenger vehicles, we have the Toyota T10 program. We work with Toyota. They work with us on curriculum, our training. They donate vehicles. We're getting ready to start a training program on hybrid vehicles. They're learning electrical vehicles, how to troubleshoot all of the, you know, when you're backing up your vehicle, it lets you know when somebody's walking behind your vehicle. So all the vehicles that come in have bugs in them, and you learn how to troubleshoot and fix them. And you can earn up to 12 auto certifications. And when you graduate, you get a toolbox, a rolling tool chest, and you get to pick $6,000 to $8,000 worth of tools and Job Corps pays to send that to wherever you're going to work. And we have partnerships with Toyota all across this country. So wherever you want to go, we could probably get you a job there, and we would ship that tool chest to your employer. And Toyota wants to hire Job Corps students because they know what they're doing under the hood, and they know they've got a strong work ethic. That so we have got that's the master mechanics. Then we have diesel. So that's working on like Freightliner, Swift, UTA, stuff like that. And you can also get your commercial driver's license. There's a real need for truck drivers right now. And then we also have an auto body and collision repair program. Students can graduate and go work at airports, painting planes, working on boats, working on motorcycles, working on semis. They're always running into stuff, those semis. But it's one of our most well-known programs, and it's an advanced training. So you would need to be really, really close to your diploma or have your diploma and take like basic automotive, and then you could go into the advanced training. The basic automotive is about 5 months long, and then the advanced training is anywhere from 15 to 18 months, but it's all free. And then you get help learning how to look for a job, practicing, you know, the interview questions, role playing that. We help you with your resume. We make sure you have the right interview attire. We get you to the interview. We do everything we can to help you get placed in a job. If you're not sure what you want to do, building construction technologies are really fun trade there. It has a blend of like plumbing, electrical, carpentry, and stuff like that. So when you finish that program, you can jump out into like advanced plumbing, advanced electrical, and such. Carpentry, students really like the carpentry program. You learn framing, roofing, how to pour asphalt, setting up scaffolding. You see a lot of their work on the Clearfield Center. They're doing like, they build the gazebos and stuff like that. Let's see, certified nursing assistant. We have pharmacy tech, medical assistant, and dental assisting. Those you do need your diploma or your GED for. We also have a partnership with Davis Tech College. So if you have your diploma or you're really close, you could take things like automation and robotics. So you're learning how to run a computer, or a robot, but you're also learning how to troubleshoot it so that if it goes down, you're more valuable to your employer because you know how to fix the problem and get it back up and running really quick. They also have a composites program. That's when you put 2 or more materials together to make them more strong. It's used a lot in the aerospace industry. So we have students that leave and go work for SpaceX or Lockheed Martin or Boeing. It's really cool. I had 2 kids go work for SpaceX in California and just loved it. Material and distribution operations, that's basically running a distribution center. Lots of those in Utah. Plumbing is a great trade. Most people tend to shy away from it because they think it's working with poop, but I'm here to tell you that usually it is just installing new pipe in new construction. If you want to work with poop, where there's a lot of money, granted, you can do advanced training in like Roto-Rooter and stuff like that. And I also want to let you know the welding program at Clearfield does have a waiting list of about a year. So if you really want to do welding, we would have you go to like Weber Basin or up into Montana to do that. Electrical has a little bit of a waiting list there at Clearfield. But while you're waiting, they would probably put you in another trade until they have space for you. Clearfield's a larger center. It has about 1,100 students when we're at capacity. So it's a little easier for the younger students to get lost there, to feel lost. You're not getting as much one-on-one attention with your instructors and your career counselors and stuff like that, like you would at Weber Basin or some of those smaller centers like Anaconda and Trapper Creek. Weber Basin, this is where my office is. I love it here. It's beautiful. As you can see, there's some dorm buildings. Those are the brown buildings you can see right there. And then off to the left, there's a big pond. They stock it with fish every year. They're building a beach. They've got paddle boards, kayaks. There's a remote control car course, a paintball course. They play a lot of softball, dodgeball, a lot of outdoor activities. The forestry program builds a lot of the trails that are up in the area. So they have bicycles and hikes that go up there a lot. Beautiful night skies. At capacity, there's about 210 students here. Right now, we only have about 80. So we're still trying to build up significantly. But one of the neatest things at Weber Basin is that the students are working to renovate the dorms one by one. So they've renovated one. They redid all of the painting, replaced the carpet, put down wood, like the laminate wood flooring, redid all of the wiring for the lights, put in new closet doors and stuff like that. So they're getting a lot of on-the-job experience on the center. We depend a lot on the students to keep the center running. And Weber Basin during the summer is just a hive of activity. We no longer offer office administration at that center, just so you're aware. We do have that at the Clearfield Center, however. There's no waiting list to get in anything here. We do have advanced training. It's called emergency dispatch. It's pretty new. It's about a year old, but boy, are we proud. We've had about 6 graduates already. They go all around the country for training. And it's mainly coordinating fires and different fire agencies, helicopter crews, fire crews, camp crews, and coordinating everything. So you can finish that and still work for the Forest Service, or you can work for 911. You can go work for the railroad, air traffic control, stuff like that. You have different options. I just love Weber Basin. It's beautiful. You see mule deer all the time. There's a peacock that roams around. There's turkeys. And that's not just the students, it's the birds. We also have Wind River, that's in Wyoming, but we must not have it in this presentation. So, but if you decide you want to apply, you can get a hold of me. And I'll help you determine the eligibility for the program. Things that we need for you to apply is like your signed Social Security card, your ID or your license, or if you're a minor, at least your birth certificate. We get your high school transcript. If you've had an IEP or a 504, we get that. Among the papers you sign is a records release so that we can get medical records if we need to and stuff like that. And then scheduling an interview, that's just working with your admissions counselor like me. We'll go over your medical history, have you sign a whole bunch of papers and just make sure you know really what you're getting into when you are applying for Job Corps. This is a place where you leave all of the high school drama behind, and you bring out all of the professionalism, responsibility, and maturity in you that you've got 24 hours a day. Like you're watching your behavior, you're watching your mouth. You know, because we have a younger population, they're a little more lenient. They'll tend to give you a verbal warning if it's not a dangerous situation, but if safety is an issue, they can write you up. And if you get a certain number of write-ups, you go before a review board and they can decide whether or not you stay or go. So you want to be careful about things like being on your phone when you're not supposed to. You don't want to do that. Leaving your closet open. You want to make sure you're on time for your meetings, on time for classes, stuff like that. Then once we're done with your application, it goes to the center review board, and mainly they're concerned about your criminal background. We want to make sure you're not on probation. There's been no real violent crimes like rape, elderly abuse, or child abuse. We also look closely at your mental health status. If you've got depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, ADHD, stuff like that, we want to make sure the student is stable, they're safe to themselves and to be around others, that they can be in a group learning environment and not be a distraction to other students. So they're going to ask questions like, are you taking your medication on a regular basis the way you're supposed to? What are your coping mechanisms? You know, if you have anxiety or ADHD, you know, how do you get yourself back on track? And then once you're approved, at Weber Basin, we bring in students every 2 weeks, and at Clearfield, we bring them in once a week. If you go up to Anaconda, Trapper Creek, or Wind River, we'll pay for your travel there. Make sure you get there. Here's just a success story. It's a young woman who went to Trapper Creek for welding. She's from Moab. We see a lot of generations come through. Parents and grandparents or uncles or siblings have been through Job Corps. We operate mainly through word of mouth. So usually when you hear people talk bad about Job Corps, they've been there and they got kicked out, or they didn't want to follow the rules. That's generally the issue. But this is just a real good chance to focus on yourself and really take care of your future. We discourage romantic entanglements. It just creates a lot of drama on center, and there's already, when you've got a lot of young people, there's going to be some drama, but romance just tends to throw it way out of kilter. You can't have public displays of affection and it gets frustrating and stuff like that. And, you know, it's a time to really focus on yourself. You know, get those adult skills under you, get certified in a trade, and that way you can, you know, graduate, make your own money, and you've got something to offer somebody, and then you can start looking for a partner. So this is somebody that was in Job Corps, and then the COVID hit and they had to go home. And so they came back in February, had to start again. But now she's a certified welder, started working in Missoula in January. Welding is a huge field. Just about everything you see out and about has some welding in it. And there are no gender barriers. Women make great welders. They make great carpenters. Our instructors love having female students. They work really hard. I think it's because they think they feel like they need to really prove themselves. But the nice thing about Job Corps is you get to pick 3 trades to try hands-on. So you're not committing straight out the gate to what you consider your career. And I also want to let you know, just because you're picking a trade and you're getting certified in it, that does not mean it has to be your career for the rest of your life. That's a lot of pressure on a young person. when you don't even really know everything that's out there and all the possibilities. But this is a good bridge from adolescence to adulthood. You're in a safe environment. You've got a lot of support. When you graduate, you're going to make some good money, and then you can save it. And then if you decide there's something else you want to do, you've got money for college or to go to a tech school and follow your dreams. Anybody have any questions so far?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Just because I've actually had a few students this year that I've talked to them about Job Corps, and they seem pretty excited about it. And then when it comes right down to it, they just don't decide to commit. And I was just kind of wondering, like, what are the biggest barriers that you see? Like, are there things that prevent kids from wanting to do Job Corps? Because it sounds like such an amazing opportunity. So
It really is an amazing opportunity. So the biggest problems are 16 and 17-year-olds are young. Many have not been away from home, especially if they're from Roosevelt, Vernal, out that way in really rural areas. That's one reason why we as admission counselors kind of try and steer them toward the smaller centers, because the bigger ones can tend to be a bit overwhelming. The first few weeks of Job Corps are what we call career prep. And I will tell you, that is the hardest part of Job Corps. You would start the same day as a group of students, and you would go through career prep with those students. And so some of those students don't really want to be there. Their parents or their step parents have kind of pushed them into it. So they're like testing boundaries, seeing how far they can push the rules and things like that. Usually they'll resign or they'll get kicked out of the program. You also deal with homesickness. The best way to cope with that is get involved with activities on center. There's lots to do. And that's a great way to make friends. You don't have to be friends with everybody, but pick your inner circle wisely. You want to pick people that are really serious about their trade. They want to be there. They're motivated. They have good values and they're supportive. So once you get through career prep, we also, during career prep, another reason it's hard is we do testing on math and reading, because you have to have certain levels for the trade that you're going into. So if you're not able to make those levels, you have like an hour a day that you have TABE training, and we try and raise your scores and get you up to where you need to go. So those are probably the most difficult things. And then just there's so many rules. You just really have to watch your behavior and be at the top of your game, and be serious about it. Does that answer your question?
yes, thank you. Yeah.
The average student is in Job Corps a year, but if you do advanced training, you can be in for 3.5 years if you want to, and it's free. I mean, I have coworkers who still have $60,000 in student debt loans. I don't know that they're ever going to get that paid off. And another thing is, it's really hard to live paycheck to paycheck on minimum wage. If you have a car and it breaks down, what do? How do you pay for that? Most people go to a payday loan place, and you're never going to get caught up on that. Never. So getting these skills under your belt, it's good. And you can always change careers. People change careers on average 5 times in a lifetime. I bet it's even more after the pandemic. And if you go into like the Toyota mechanics program, if you get hired by Toyota, they've got all kinds of career pathways for you to take. You could become a service writer, get into parts and become white collar and things like that. So, it's just because you're picking a trade now doesn't mean that has to be what you're tied to for the rest of your life. I don't want that to scare you off.
Do you allow like site visits or field trips of students who might be interested?
So site visits, do you mean like tours of the center or family visits?
Yeah, tours of the center, like maybe if we had a group of students that think they might be interested and would like to come, learn more about it and kind of visit, and we could bring them up.
Absolutely. We totally encourage that. Yes. So it takes about an hour and a half to tour each center. I know y'all be coming from a long way. So, we could pick one center or the other, depending on the age group that you've got coming in and the trades that they're interested in. There's only like a 20-minute separation between Weber Basin and the Clearfield Center. So we would love to have a tour, and a lot of kids who are on the fence and are not really sure, the tour, it sends them over the edge on the positive side.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We would totally welcome that.
So Tammy, if we
mhm.
decided that we wanted to set up a tour, would I just work with you on that?
Yeah, you could do that, and I could arrange that. If you were to go to Weber Basin, we would get some students to join us, some ambassadors of the center. And I tell you, you can ask them any question and they'll be really honest about the food, what they like about Job Corps, what they don't like. You can ask them any question you want and they'll be really honest about it. But yeah, a tour is definitely a great
Another
option.
question that I had was, we have some students that are behind on credits. If they chose to come to Job Corps, how would that work with their graduation and them getting their diploma? Would they have to make up a lot of those credits? Do you guys, how many credits do you guys require to get a diploma? How would that work?
So we require 24 credits for a diploma. We also offer the GED or the HiSET, and we would test until you could pass the GED or the HiSET and then take you to get the testing done. What we do is we would have academics for a week, your trade training for a week, academics for a week, your trade training for a week. So you're making some progress in your trade and earning your certifications while you're finishing up high school. Not in high school every day, because that can tend to be a little tedious. So we try and break it up a little bit.
And then did I see somewhere, I can't remember if I saw it somewhere, if I heard it in your presentation, but I know that there's the heavy focus on the trade programs, but don't you also have programs where the students could go to like a university and get a bachelor's degree?
So I think at Wind River, they may have that option. I'd have to look into that a little more. I think that has to do with anything in the health field there. At Clearfield, we do have the partnership with Davis Tech with the automation robotics, composites, and then architectural and engineering design. And then at Salt Lake Community College, that's where kids can get their commercial driver's license, and we have electronics assembly. So that's like working on everything that's inside your cell phone or everything that's inside your computer, all the hardware stuff. So like if you were to go into CNA, the highest we could get you is your LPN. And we would probably send you to Iowa for that. And then, so if you wanted to become an RN, you would go to college for that. So our goal is to get you either in advanced training, a job, an apprenticeship, the military, or college. And we have, folks from the military recruiters that come and visit the center. They talk to students about the tests that they have to take, and they work out with them, try and get them physically in shape and prepared for the rigors of the military. Did I cover what you asked?
Yes, yeah, thank you.
There's so many benefits to this program that
Yeah, it sounds
learned
amazing.
I learn something new every time. And I'm sure there's other benefits that I don't even know about that kids learn as they go. Like right now here at Weber Basin, we have culinary arts. We have a student that's just starting a 16-week internship at Yosemite, and they're going to pay for her housing and her food while she's getting that internship under her belt. Then when she finishes that, she's going to go out to Treasure Island in California and do advanced training. So it's pretty awesome to see kids come in here. A lot of them are just have been sort of drifting. They don't really have any goals, so they're not really motivated to do anything because they don't know how to get where they want to be. Job Corps helps you set that plan up, and we help you get there.
It sounds like such an amazing program and such a neat opportunity. When I've talked to my students about it, I've always told them like, this is the most support you're going to get as far as like trying to find job training, trying to get through all of these different processes that it takes to get that career. And I'm like, this is the most supported you're going to be. And so
Yeah.
it's a really cool program. Does anybody else have any more questions before we bring it to a close?
No, I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to just kind of emphasize what you just said. I have a nephew that actually went through Job Corps, and it's been amazing for him. So students, I think you really need to look at this as an option, especially after graduation. You know, if you're struggling now, maybe before graduation, but for a lot of you, this is a great option after graduation as well, to get that training and learn how to be an adult, how to live on your own. And you're going right into a career following graduation from this program, where you're going to be making money and being able to support yourself and living on your own. So I think it's a great program and a great opportunity.
Yeah, you mentioned adulting. Like I've read an article, and it says like people ages 18 to up to 40 feel like they never learned all of the adulting skills that they need. We really focus on that and building a strong work ethic, because we know it's a hard world out there, and you got to know how to deal with a lot of different things. We try and build resiliency in our students. One of our best success stories is we had a student come in from Denver. All his friends were drug dealers and in gangs, and he's like, I just don't want that life. Came to Clearfield Job Corps, went to Davis Tech and did composites, got picked up by Lockheed Martin at $65,000 a year. Whole life changed. I bet it's beyond his imagination. Wildest dreams can really change your life right here. It's a neat program. So I'm going to mail you guys some brochures and things like that that'll have my contact info, and y'all have my contact info too, I believe. So, you know, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to answer questions or, you know, tell you more or anything that y'all need. I'm here.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I really appreciate you taking the time with us, and hopefully we can get the word out to, so even though we don't have a ton of students on here, we'll share the recording with them so they can get all the information. And we just really appreciate you taking the time with us. Let's see, sorry, what?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, we are excited. Miss Tuckett, do you do the drawing or anything?
I'm going to do the drawing. I can't share my screen because I'm not the host anymore, but let me click on my little spinner here. Hold on. Let's see, it's spinning. I don't know if you can hear it. And the winner is Peter.
All right.
Yay, congrats, Peter.
So Peter, make sure you stop by the school and pick up your prize. We'll have it for you tomorrow.
Well, thank you all for getting on tonight, and we'll let you go and have a good evening.
All right, thank you, everybody.